Before we begin, my deepest apologies for once again saying that I planned on streaming a thing and then not streaming it. I know it's not the first time I've done that recently and kind of ditched all of you guys. The last time it happened, I forgot to set an alarm. This time, though, remember what I said? I would stream it as long as I got enough sleep. Yeah, I had kind of a rough night. I've struggled with insomnia and sleep problems for kind of a while now, and so I don't want to say insomnia relapse. I don't want to put like a label on it, but let's just say it was a very, very, very difficult night, and I just couldn't. I absolutely just couldn't. I would not have been able to bring any amount of energy or attention or anything to it. So yeah, I really do apologize though. It's hard because I don't want to like not say anything unless I'm sure it's going to happen, because I'm never going to be 100% sure, so then I would never say anything. I don't know. I'm just going to keep trying to do my best. So I hope none of you showed up hoping that I would be there, and then sad that I wasn't. But yeah, let's on to the main thing now. I just watched the Kirby Air Riders Direct, and boy are my star machine tired. I don't know. It was great. I really, really enjoyed seeing Sakurai again. He's always a delight. I feel like he just, I don't know, is he just as good as always at doing presentations, or does he get better every time? He's just so funny. Like, just, it's just so, I love how he doesn't use a, like a translated voiceover like most other Nintendo presentations. He just does. He's a subs, not a dubs guy, and I really like that. I like hearing his own voice, and he brings so much personality to every presentation that he does. Just so funny, so many jokes. I love it. His delivery is always like so like straight-laced, deadpan, and yet I don't know. It's just a joy, and he's got such an amazing attention to detail, even like not just in how he designs his games, but also how he gives us the information about how he's done it. No detail is too fine for him to bring up, and I just love that about him. I could gush about him all day. He's amazing. And so, all that to say, very lovely presentation. Really, really fun. 47 minutes long, but it goes by so fast because it's just so enjoyable. But let's talk about the game, Kirby Air Riders. The first thing he went over was that this is called Kirby Air Riders because you can choose from a bunch of different characters now. I didn't play the original. Most of my experience with it is putting B-roll of it in videos about Kirby Air Riders, so that's been my main kind of exposure, is watching Born Losers Gaming playing Kirby Air Ride. But yeah, apparently in the original, there was like a way that you could use like Meta Knight and DDD or something, but it was like very limited. Here, it's a big, huge roster, loads and loads of characters, and they all have their own unique attributes, so that's a big thing. They all have their own unique stats, and then their stats will also affect the machines, the things that you ride on, in different ways. So that's really interesting. And then there's a really, really big collection of machines to choose from. There were apparently only 2 types of machines in the original, but now there's like a whole bunch of them introduced, like chariot type, and just so many different ones with so many different attributes that control in such different ways. And so that, one of the big things about this game is just that kind of customizability, that flexibility, the character and the machine, different mixes and matches, and then even Kirby himself can apparently have multiple specials. And then that's another thing. It seems that not too much has changed about the raw gameplay itself, and it's been so long since the original. I think there may have been a really big temptation to really innovate in that Nintendo kind of way, to give it some kind of really big new twist. Often they don't even want to do a game unless they can just introduce some wacky new element to it. And yet I love Sakurai's vision here. He's really, it doesn't seem like he's changed the gameplay all that much, because the original, it's all one button gameplay. You just have the one button that kind of slows you down and builds up a boost, and then you let go to go again. Really simple. He's introduced a second button, unfortunately. His word, not mine. And this gives you a special ability. Yeah, all the different characters have their own specials. Kirby has a number of different specials. And when he started to say this, I really thought that, I was like, oh, here we go. Here's going to be the thing. Here's going to be like the big new thing. But no, it really is just like, it's like a Final Smash kind of thing. It's like an attack, you know? Oh, it's a boost, or it's a little like sword attack, or I mean, you know, there's a number of different ones, and they do look very powerful and very interesting, but it's not too big of a change. You know, it's not dramatically changing how the game works. And I think we can see that overall, he has really worked to maintain the simplicity of the original, you know, just kind of keep with what made that game the game that it was, that its DNA has not really been altered. Everything has just kind of been refined. Other new features kind of supporting that gameplay have been added. And again, there may be some details here that I'm not missing that are new here and weren't in the original or whatever, but overall, it seems to mostly be the same kind of game, just better and more. And I like that. You know, you don't always have to do something really new. Just do a new one that is better. I think that's great. But yeah, I mean, he went into so many little details. Obviously, I can't even go into all of them here, but just like so much really, really cool stuff. I love his whole philosophy here where like it's a racing game, but the idea isn't to like mess up the other players, because that's Mario Kart's thing, you know, is making each other mad, hitting each other with items and making a person just stop and just rubbing their face in it and just making them furious, you know, and it's fun in its own way, but here, everything is more about increasing your own speed. I love this whole thing where players leave behind stars as they go. So when you follow in the tracks of a player who's in front, you're getting these stars, and that's increasing your speed. So that's a really interesting dynamic that's going to help people kind of trade back and forth, and it doesn't mean that when you are in the lead, you are strictly ahead. You are strictly at an advantage, you know, and if you're behind, then you are not strictly at a disadvantage. I think that's a really, really just a fascinating idea. And like, you know, you can attack enemies on the track and attack each other. And when you do this, it boosts you. But again, like you attack another player, it doesn't really slow them down all that much. It's more about just giving you a boost. And I like that. I just think it gives the game a very, I don't know, just a much more fun and positive spirit that feels a lot more in line with the spirit of Kirby himself, I think. He's always a positive little guy, isn't he? And I really do love the emphasis on defeating enemies on the track. You know, I always like, I like a racing game with more to do. You know, just more stuff to accomplish while you're going. And so I love this idea that you're also beating enemies, and that's also helping you. And then copy abilities. So Kirby, he's got his copy abilities, but he's like, it wouldn't make sense if only Kirby could have copy abilities. So now everyone can use copy abilities. This is huge. That's huge. I'm just like, I don't know, Kirby, like, I don't know what the word would be, lore or whatever, just like Kirby fandom wise, I can imagine that all of these other characters using copy abilities is probably a really big deal. They all get different costumes just like Kirby does. So like seeing Meta Knight and all these you know, Bandana Waddle Dee, but they look like the other, I don't know. It's awesome. It's cool. It adds a really cool dynamic to this whole thing. And I mean, even just the idea of copy abilities at all, I think that's very neat. This game already has so many features. The gameplay already looks fun, and then you have the specials, and then you add in the copy abilities. It's just yeah, again, it's relatively simple gameplay, and then a bunch of other just kind of wacky stuff on the track and everywhere to kind of support it and make it more interesting. And again, this game is not doing a whole lot of new stuff. It's mostly just doing the same again, but better. And so he really just talked about 2 main modes. It does not sound like the game has any other brand new modes. It's just the regular air ride racing mode and its city trial. And first he talked about air ride. The courses look amazing. The courses look so good. I'm hoping there are more. because, you know, I was kind of theorizing maybe this will be, maybe it'll be a smaller game. Maybe it'll be kind of a budget game. It is not, though. It is going to be a digitally and physically released game. The price has been revealed at $70, just like other new games, just like anything. This is a full release, and he did only show us a small handful of courses, and he confirmed that there is only one city trial map. That one might not be so bad because it does look very big, and I think he probably wanted to really zero in on that. Whatever, we'll talk about city trial in a minute. But like, just the racing courses. He only showed off a few. I'm really, really hoping there are more, because at full price, it is going to be a little rough if there are only a few courses to choose from. I mean, you know, you can't compare the game too much to Mario Kart because they are very different games, but like Mario Kart games get like 32 tracks, you know, like, yeah, the game's going to get pretty old if there's only a handful to choose from. So I'm hoping that was just the amount that he wanted to reveal. Maybe that is fairly likely. The tracks look amazing, though. They look really, really awesome. Just visually very spectacular. Really, I mean, you know, I love a good, like, roller coastery track. I love just a really big, exciting, very active and vertical dynamic kind of thing. And that seems to be what most of these are. He seemed particularly pleased with the ocean themed track. I love him. You can see the pride. He's just like, I think this is a really good design. Like, he was clearly just really pleased with how they designed the ocean track. And it is amazing. The idea is living water. So just like the waves are rising up all over the place. It's super amazing. I really cannot wait to get my hands on it. But yeah, races look really, really fast and really fun. He talked about playing online, how it's like really fluid. When you finish a race, even if everybody else hasn't finished yet, you can just go straight into the next race. It's very, very fast. And I will also mention the UI is also so slick, so incredibly slick. Just really, I know I keep using the word dynamic, but it's a very good word. Everything looks so fun and sharp and crisp and alive and modern, but also kind of like simple and clean and elegant in that just classic Sakurai kind of way. The Smash Bros, like all of his games have all had similar vibes, especially in the UI and stuff, but like the Smash Bros vibes have never been more alive than they are here. The sound effects and just the menus and the announcer and everything, and it's awesome. It's like getting a little taste of Smash Bros, even though it's not Smash Bros. I think it's fantastic. So yeah, then he went into great depth about City Trial. You know, I think obviously he can recognize that was the more popular option when people played the original. I mean, it's the most interesting thing that Kirby Air Ride did. You know, I think on a more simplistic level, like the boost system, the fact that it's just one button where you're always going and then one button to stop and build up a boost. That was kind of the game's thing. But then beyond that point, it's the city trial. It's the idea of going around this big, like, kind of sandbox and gathering up power-ups to compete against people in further races or whatever. Here, it seems to be like just like a handful of stadium events, and it looks great. Like, I'm really, really looking forward to this kind of thing. The idea of trying to build up your machine as you go, these like quick, it's like 5 minutes to get as much as you can. And then even within those 5 minutes, all of these different events are being introduced. All this stuff can happen. Big spiky whatevers can fall down from the sky. There's like mini stadiums where you brawl each other within the city trial. And it just seems so, dynamic. It seems so dynamic. No, it just seems so interesting, and he just could not stop going into all these little details, all these little considerations, even in just like the way that it works, the way that it selects one of the stadiums afterward, the voting system. There are a bunch of different options that you can do it randomized, you can do it vote. There's so many different ways to do it. And I think he recognizes that is part of the fun, is one, giving people options, but then two, just having there be a lot of ways that it can be, so that even if you are doing it randomly, it keeps it keeps it just really, really lively and unpredictable. And yeah, again, there is only one map, but it does seem to be rather large, and it is split up between different areas with different themes, and it looks great. Yeah, it looks fantastic. Visually, it looks really good. It does look very big. I'm really excited to kind of explore its different biomes, its different sections, whatever. And then the stadium challenges also look really, really fun. There's one where you're like going after trying to hit the right targets, and one where you just kind of fighting each other. There's like a skydive gourmet race. So just like, it's really cool. My only real concern there is that 5 minutes, all in all, isn't very long, but I feel like spending 5 frantic minutes trying so hard to build up a cool machine. But then it sounds like you, unless I'm misunderstanding this, it seems like you're only getting to do like 2 rounds of a single stadium challenge. After all of that prep, I kind of feel like if you're going to do all that prep, you need, I don't know, at least the same amount of time. You know, at least like a handful of races or something, or like maybe a race and a stadium challenge. It just seems like a lot of build-up for a very, very short payoff. And I don't know, maybe he's just recognizing that the build-up is the funnest part, I suppose. But I don't know. If I'm going to put that much mental energy into trying to get a good machine rolling, I guess I want something more to do with it. But at the same time, then if you don't end up getting a good machine, then you're kind of locked in for a while, and then a player might want to quit. So I don't know. I guess I really can't judge it until I get it in my own 2 hands and see how it plays out. But it looks great, though. It looks great. So many little details, so many little considerations. It seems like he's done a really great job here. I mean, you know, he brings his full self to every project. Obviously, it's Sakurai. He's such a perfectionist, but he's doing it again here. Really just seems that way. It's almost like surreal seeing how closely this footage matches footage of the original. But like, it's really not that different, but it's just looks better, and there's just more to it. It looks more fun, more features, more options. You can play online. I mean, come on, you can play online. I think we're still not 100% sure if there's going to be, I'm getting mixed answers here, if there's going to be local multiplayer, like split screen. It really would be a shame if there was no split screen. If anything, just because, you know, that was the only option before. People who played with each other on the original, it was only split screen. And so, like, obviously they're going to want to kind of replicate that experience of playing with friends. And now we got these big giant TVs, you know, like we were doing it on little tiny CRTs before. We got this big 4K TV. Like, let us do at least 2-player, you know, but like 4 ideally. So I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I'm getting mixed signals there. Hopefully you can. But whatever the case, being able to play online is great. There's always going to be, it's Kirby Air Ride City Trial, except there's always going to be someone to play with, and I think that's really cool. I think the game is shaping up real good. We also got other details like the release date. Thank you, coming out in November. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He always knows how to structure these things. And of course, he waited until the very, very last possible second to give us that release date. But yeah, it's coming November. Good to know. Feels good. It's good to have that confirmation. And I also really liked how he went into the origin of the game and how it happened, because we have all been very curious. You know, is it like, oh, did he promise to work on Smash and Nintendo let him work on any game that he wanted? Like that whole rumor. And he had been like working on his own stuff and on his YouTube channel for a while. So just like we were really wondering what the story was there. And it is possible, at least, that there is more of a story than he is revealing here. Or it may not be that. Nintendo just asked him to do it. That's really it. I think it seems that he didn't necessarily propose it on his own. It could be possible that he has wanted to do it for a long time, and maybe they knew that. But yeah, he just said he was working on the Smash DLC, and Nintendo just asked him. They just said, hey, will you do it? And he said yeah, and then he did it. And the game was being co-developed by Sora, his studio, and Bandai Namco, who helped him with Smash, Wii U, and 3DS. So there you go. That was the Direct. It was really good. It was really good. It was really fun. It was incredibly entertaining, and the game looks awesome. It really does look awesome. I haven't talked to a bunch of like Kirby community folk yet, but it's hard for me to imagine that too many people would be disappointed with this. It seems like Kirby Air Ride, but way better and modern and coming to Switch too. So there you go. Good stuff.